Every year in the NFL draft, there's a quarterback the draft community gets wrong. A player who gets labeled as a backup, overlooked, or dismissed entirely. And then they look like a good franchise QB moving forward, and people ask the question, how did everyone miss on that guy? Over the past few years, quarterbacks like Bo Nix and Tyler Shough were often treated like afterthoughts in the draft conversation. But when you actually watch the film, the media narrative around them didn't always match the reality. And in the 2026 draft, it feels like the same thing is happening again. Because the quarterback we're talking about today was once considered the #1 quarterback prospect in the entire class, and now he's being projected as a late day 2 or even day 3 pick. That quarterback is Cade Klubnik. When we actually go back and study the film, that projection becomes surprising. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down 3 things: what actually makes Cade Klubnik an intriguing quarterback prospect, the level of defenses he faced and the plays he made against them, and how the situation around him at Clemson may have played a much bigger role in his disappointing 2025 season than people realize. So what makes Klubnik so special? Well, it's the fact that he is simply a well-rounded QB. He's very good at pretty much everything you want to see from a quarterback. Kind of like how Stefon Diggs was coming out of college as a prospect. Diggs was just very good at everything, but not elite per se. Cade Klubnik is the same way. Whether it's accuracy, under pressure play, inside structure or outside out structure, big time throw maker, or as a decision maker, he's very good at all those things. He just isn't in the 99th percentile of those things. But make no mistake, that doesn't mean he's average. For example, he is excellent while under pressure. In the 2024 season, Cade Klubnik was by far the best quarterback while under pressure in college football, and that's him performing far better than the 2025 draft class and his current draft class. It's not like he wasn't under a lot of pressure either, because he certainly was, being under the 8th most pressure in the 2024 year, while having a 77.8 passing grade, which is insane by the way, a 9.1 big time throw rate, and 2.8 turnover replay rate. That's critical because this Clemson offense isn't this vertical, simplistic offense like Ole Miss had with Jackson Dart, or Syracuse's vertical shot offense with Kyle McCord last year. Those offenses are built on vertical plays. Clemson's offense wasn't. What about this past year though? He must have been bad, since why would he go from #1 overall pick before the season to day 3 pick now? Well, no, he was still very good while under pressure. He ranked 8th in performance while under pressure, having a 65 passing grade, an 8.5 big time throw percentage, and a 2.8 turnover worthy play rate. To compare where other guys are at in the draft, Mendoza ranked 3rd with a 68.4 passing grade, a almost 2% higher big time throw rate. Now, Mendoza was under far less pressure than Klubnik. Simpson ranked 20th with a 48.3 passing grade and only a 6.7% big time throw rate. Klubnik was noticeably better than those two guys with decision making, with a 2.8 turnover replay rate, Mendoza with a 3.9%, and Simpson with a 7.9% rate. Now, the goal here, for right now at least, isn't to say that Klubnik is a better prospect than those two guys, just to give reference of where those guys are at, but those are just advanced stats. Does Klubnik match that on the film? Against Virginia in 2024, he needs to step up to the plate and do his part in leading his team to a win. The coverage would be cover 3, with it being 3rd and 6 in the 3rd quarter, up by 1 touchdown. He takes the snap, drops back to see his guy falling over, letting a free rusher fly towards him. So, while under pressure, he makes the anticipation throw on the outside, creating not only a chunk play, but also getting the drive extended. Against Louisville in 2024, coverage would be cover 1 man-to-man. Quick pressure comes from the left as the tackle is dismantled, but with Klubnik being flushed out of the pocket and to his right, pressure then comes from the right. Cade outruns both guys and makes a good throw on the run to his receiver. It's a little short of the first down marker, so they run on 4th down to convert, but for it being 3rd down and the play breaking down so quickly, it certainly is impressive. What's more impressive is this: it's 1st down and Louisville's running a cover 2 man-to-man. As Klubnik gets the snap and drops back, he checks the safety into his first read on the right, which is not open, but before he can finish his drop back, the tackle doesn't hold up in pass pro and Klubnik has a guy in his face, but he doesn't take the sack. He smoothly navigates the incoming pressure, but still doesn't see anything open. He sees another defender waiting for him, not allowing him to throw there, and goes to his left to throw to number 12. Great playmaking and pocket maneuvering, all while under pressure. Now against Virginia Tech, it's 2nd and 10, and the defense is deploying cover 3, so the defense wants Klubnik to think, as it becomes cover 0 with a blitz of defenders. Now, Klubnik messes up at first with the extra defenders catching him off guard, and he doesn't throw to the wide receiver that would be open for a touchdown. But he makes up for it with a guy running straight at him. Klubnik backs up to the left a little bit, buying some time and throwing an excellent ball to the left side in tight coverage, all while under pressure. It's impressive stuff given the mistake at the beginning of the play. Being great while under pressure is that line in the sand that is a must-have at the next level for quarterbacks. It makes or breaks a guy's career. But what also makes or breaks a QB's career is their playmaking ability. Because when you face great defenses or go into the playoffs, that's where offensive schemes can hit their ceiling, and players, especially quarterbacks, need to make plays to win the game. Cade Klubnik is surprisingly and consistently great at making plays outside of structure, despite analysts regarding him as this ordinary pocket quarterback. Against Pittsburgh, a unique defense whose scheme has been integrated into Brian Flores' Vikings defense, Clemson is in the red zone and it's 2nd and 10. The coverage looks to be covered 2 man-to-man, but post-snap, 2 defenders come down the blitz, with one being the fake and the other one coming unblocked. Klubnik sees the pressure and steps back to fire the ball in a tight window for the touchdown. I mean, what kind of ordinary QB makes that kind of throw? Now he knows this will be a close game, and Klubnik also knows that when he sees the opportunities, he has to take them. His first 2 reads are not open. Klubnik looks to the 3rd and 4th read, a full field read, and chooses a seam as there's more room for the receiver to catch it out in front. The coverage is sticky already, and it's the only spot to realistically put it out of reach for the corner, but it's dropped. With it being 2nd down again, Pittsburgh will have some deception to try to trick Klubnik. It looks to be cover 2 man, but late in the play, the safety comes down to take away the dig route. With the corner thinking the wide receiver is going to run and go, he fails to think this might be a post with a cut inside, which is exactly what the wide receiver does. Now, all the while this is happening, Klubnik will have pressure from the right side, but still makes a big time throw, splitting the 2 defenders and taking a big hit. And people say he's not a big playmaker. Now you see many examples of his great performance while under pressure and him making plays out of nothing. While those defenses were not bad, they were good defenses. They aren't the best defenses. So what happened when Klubnik faced an elite defense? Well, Texas in 2024 was a gauntlet of a defense to go up against. And at first, he didn't really do a whole lot. That means no good or bad plays. This continued until Klubnik commits 2 turnover plays on the same drive. One was a dumb attempt to throw the ball to avoid a sack and a throw into a window that just wasn't there. Being down by 3 touchdowns in the 3rd quarter is not looking good for Klubnik. This is the exact type of game that people weigh heavily in a QB evaluation in the draft. What happens next? Well, something snapped in him, because he does this. Texas will run cover 3 pre-snap. Klubnik gets the ball and looks to the left. Williams is open, but they need something bigger. So he looks to the right and finds something with a tight end running this corner route. Klubnik throws a touch pass to him right over the top, creating a chunk play. 2 plays later, he does it again. Texas is looking to run this too high look, but it converts to his cover 3 variation post-snap. Looking for a vertical shot, Klubnik identifies the outside wide receiver open, but a better option is the running back running this wheel route. This is a difficult throw even though it is open. Some QBs lack the touch and accuracy to drop balls into buckets, and Klubnik's specialty is just that. 1 touchdown down, 2 more to go. Now it's 4th down in the red zone. With it being at the top of the 4th quarter, Texas is running this too high look, covering everything well. Klubnik moves to the right, an important decision as the defense is playing zone, moves to the right with him, and it leaves Williams wide open. The problem is Klubnik has a guy right in his face, so he takes a brutal hit but delivers a strike to Williams. Big time stuff, as it really shows the potential of his arm strength when he actually uses his lower body. It's 3rd down again on the following drive. With Texas running this single high look, Klubnik looks to his right, sees the opportunity, and with the interior rush flying in, Klubnik throws, dropping a beauty over the top in a bucket. Not only gain the 1st down, but an explosive play. Now keep in mind it's about 9:55 in the 4th quarter, and at this point, Texas before this drive scores another touchdown. And so a couple plays later, it's 2nd down with Texas rotating from a cover 2 man look to cover 6, and finally to cover 3 post snap. Cade looks to the right and sees Williams with some separation and fires it just as he gets hit from behind and chucks another big time throw. At this point, I don't know how one can say this is a day 3 pick we are watching. With Clemson in the red zone now, Klubnik goes back to Williams again, throwing it in probably the best spot you can given the separation, but Williams can't hang on to it because he's catching it with 1 hand. I believe they get some kind of penalty in the play, and that gives them a new set of downs in which they call 1 pass play, where Klubnik gets it there, but it's great coverage by the corner, and then run 3 unsuccessful run plays, turning the ball over on downs. They leaves 1 last drive, where Klubnik does well by faking a scramble and throwing it to create explosive yak play. This proceeded with a couple of plays later with a turnover-worthy play by forcing into triple coverage. Not good, but with it being third down, the coverage is a cover 3 variation. Klubnik gets the ball, looks to his left, and throws to the outside with an explosive play opportunity, with the wide receiver going up to catch it, but he can't get a foot in bounds. And the throw looks a little high, and while it is, I still feel this is decent ball placement. Could have been better? Yeah. Is it bad? No. Ultimately, he gave his receiver a shot, and that's what really matters. If it was Denzel Boston or Carnell Tate, that would have been caught and potentially changed the game. I could go on and on in terms of this game. It was over a little while back with Texas getting that next score, and they wouldn't convert the fourth down anyway. It's still a fabulous job by Cade Klubnik. Being down by such a large score, starting that comeback opportunity, but then having the mental resilience is impressive. He showed he can carry a team on his shoulders, making so many big time throws against an elite defense. This is number one worthy overall stuff. And after all we've gone through, Klubnik really shouldn't be a hidden gem in this draft. But even still, there's another factor at play that's been holding Klubnik back that we haven't covered yet, which really explains why Klubnik has become this hidden gem in the draft. The media narrative is that Klubnik has massively disappointed this season, but he, even in the media's eyes, was not the only one on this team who disappointed. Almost all Clemson's draft prospects have disappointed on the offensive and defensive side, signaling the problem was across the board and maybe more because of coaching issues, if anything. There also was this odd perception that Clemson was loaded on the offensive side, with some people saying they have a really good receiving core or offensive line. His receiving core was actually problematic. Overall grading from Pro Football Focus would say that receivers were pretty good, with Antonio Williams being the most notable of the group. The problem is, they are not as good as people say they are. Because when you think about what is most important when it comes to wide receivers, you think getting open and catching, but most critically, and we'll see this soon on the film, in critical situations they were not good. When looking at the number of drops each QB had, Klubnik was ranked 6th, with having the most drops, with 24 total drops. Mendoza had 6 drops for comparison. When looking at the number of contested catches catched, how do you say that? Contested catches catched? When looking at the number of contested catches catched, Antonio Williams and TJ Moore were in that bottom half tier of contested catch percentage, with Williams having a 46.2 success rate and TJ Moore of a 28.6 catch rate. The average is 52%, and the really good receivers is 65% and up. Contested catches matter a lot, particularly when you need to make intermediate or deep throws on the outside. If you are a QB and your receivers are not good at winning at the catch point, it limits how often you can tack on the outside or make throws anywhere the receiver has to make a play at the ball. Not to mention, it shows to go that Cade Klubnik did not have a wide receiver 1 in college. Antonio Williams, even if one thinks he is good, which I'm not saying he's bad, he's just a slot guy, which is still critical to consider in the evaluation of quarterbacks in the draft. We make arguments all the time, myself included, that an NFL QB needs a wide receiver 1, and they absolutely do at the NFL level. The analysis applies to college as well. It's honestly not talked about more in college because it is easier to win with a solid receiving core than having that good X guy. That's just receivers. The offensive line was not great as people say it is. Using Pro Football Focus's offensive line efficiency metrics, Clemson's offensive line gave up 103 pressures, ranking 8th of notable teams. In comparison to other QB prospects this year, LSU was ranked 10th with 99 pressures, Alabama at 17th with 86 pressures, Indiana at 21st with 58 pressures, and Miami was at 24th with 50 pressures allowed in the 2025 season. To narrow down the performance of the offensive line further, Clemson had 2 good offensive line with most notably Blake Miller. Both guys were good in all types of pass plays and standard drop back to pass, which excludes play action, screens, quick time to throws, or long time to throws. The rest of the line was not good, which is why I struggled quite a bit. And the film supports the receivers and offensive line not being great, particularly in critical situations. In 2025 against LSU, this game was truly a statement to be made by Clemson to set the tone for what they'll be in this recent 2025 season. It's first down, the LSU defense deploying cover 3. Klubnik looks to his first read, it's not open yet, so he moves to his next read, which isn't open either, with no separation between the receiver and the corner. The problem is the pressure is here already, and Klubnik has to throw it. So Klubnik throws it up to his receiver to give him a 50-50 shot to get it. The receiver doesn't even try to go up for it, instead he turns into a corner himself and knocks it away. Now for context, the LSU defense has found a weakness against Clemson, and that is the blitz. With so many routes being intermediate and deep, it takes time for those routes to develop, and it forces Klubnik to speed up his throwing and decision making because he needs to find answers faster than they are there. And his receivers are not helping the case. It's 2nd and 9 now, and LSU is running a variant of cover 3, which flushes Klubnik out of the pocket. Now people will pause here and say, hey, open guy, it's bad processing, which is stupid because 1, it'd be called a panic play if he throws it to him, and 2, he'd be knocked for throwing across his body. So yeah, it's actually good that Klubnik is leaving the pocket. And so what he does is throw another 50-50 ball to the receiver, Antonio Williams, and people say he never got opportunities. Well, here's one. He plays handsies with Tulane out of fear of him making a play at the ball. Well, if Williams actually went for the ball, this might have been a huge play. The wide receiver issues continue. It's 4th down, and Klubnik has 9 yards to go. Williams gets some separation and can't hang on to the ball. One might be quick to say this is high, but it needs to be because the corner isn't just any cornerback. It's Tulane, the island himself. So this ball needs to be put in a spot where the receiver can get 2 hands on it to give him the chance to hold on to the ball, with Tulane going to try to punch the ball out, and Williams just can't hold on to it. It's the 4th quarter, and there's only 4 minutes and 21 seconds left on the clock. A big play is needed. It's 2nd down, Klubnik gets a snap and looks to his left, and it's a rare big-time throw opportunity. With some good protection for once, Klubnik launches it deep with perfect back shoulder placement away from the corner, and the receiver drops it. In a critical moment, when the big play opportunities are limited due to the restrictions of the receivers, Klubnik delivered, but his guys let him down. I want to say this isn't to hate on the receivers. It's just to point out that Klubnik was performing well despite the narrative saying he had a bad year. Cade Klubnik is a hidden gem in this draft class, and he could be far better than the guys in this draft. As I said earlier, he's a lot like Stephon Diggs as a prospect. A guy who was overlooked for not having flashy traits. He was just very good at everything. That's not average or a little above average, it's being really good. What about a guy who NFL teams saw as a really good QB prospect, but the media saw him as a bad QB? That guy is Tyler Shuck, a guy who I thought was right up there with Cam Ward. Check out that video here, and if you enjoyed the video, a like or hype would be fantastic. I'll have draft videos coming out, hopefully twice a week for the next month.